This is The Stash, and you're listening to the Business Bottom Line Podcast, coming to you from the Jewel City of the Mountains, Greenville, Tennessee. We're in the foothills of the Smokies talking business with people just like you who are responsible for the bottom line, sharing business tips to inspire, inform, and improve, and turn your bottom line from red to black. Special guest today with us on the podcast, Mr. Shane Lyons, is coming to us. Well, where are you coming to us from, Shane?
Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
Mount
suburb
Juliet.
of Nashville.
Well, I thought that's where you were, but I wanted to be sure that you were in the same place that I was thinking. How in the world are you doing today?
I'm sorry, Bill?
How in the world are you doing today?
It's doing very good. Very good. Thank you for asking, and thank you for having me.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show. I want to start off with a simple question. Are you an Android or an iPhone user?
I am currently using an iPhone.
Okay. Now, do you have a specific reason why do you use an iPhone?
Well, I used to have an Android, but I wanted access to iTunes.
Oh.
So I went out and bought an iPhone.
Okay. So you got to have the music with you while you're working.
Absolutely.
Well, that's cool. It's just a silly question, but I always like to ask anyway because people get settled on one, and it's hard to change, you know.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being on with us today, and Shane is part of the dynamic duo for Evergreen Waste in Mount Juliet. So I'm gonna introduce you by letting you tell us a little bit about your family, and then we'll talk some business in, Shane.
All right, Bill. It's just myself and my lovely wife, Veronica, who Monday was Valentine's Day, and that was the day we met 20 years ago. So we've been together for 20 years. We have no children, but we rescue dogs.
Oh.
So we have a dog family.
Okay, that counts. That is very cool. So 20 years. Hey, that's an excellent place to be and a good milestone.
I'm surprised she's had me for this long.
That's exactly what I say when people ask me about my wife. I'm surprised she's kept me. That in itself is a blessing, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, can you tell me a favorite book or something you've read recently that you thought was just really neat? Or you're reading?
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of a really good book called Empire of the Summer Moon by S.C. Gwynn. It's about Quanah Parker and the rise and the fall of the Comanches in the late 1800s.
Wow, that sounds fascinating.
It's really a good book, and it really brings you into the time period and just how masterful these Native Americans were, especially with horseback riding, why they were so dominant. And it's just a fascinating read.
Wow. Now, is it historical? Is it based on a historical view, or is it just purely a fictional setting? How is it?
No, it's nonfiction, and it was really about the white settlers moving west and the Comanche tribes trying to keep them out. And it was really based in and around Texas at the time, before it was Texas.
Right.
And they had no idea what they were up against until they started moving west and ran into these Native Americans.
Yeah, who were real warriors in the pure sense
real
of the
warriors.
Word. Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
Well, I'll have to let you tell me some more about that one day. That does sound fascinating. I enjoy reading and seeing things about the Old West. Sometimes I feel like I was born in the wrong century. I would have fit better back then. I don't know. I'm not sure what you take away from that comment, but anyway. Well, let's talk about what you do, because I thought we might get you and Bayson both on together, but we're so happy that you're with us. But tell us about the company and a little bit of history, how you got started, because
sure.
There's a big story there, I know.
There is a big story. I was getting out of the Navy after 10 years, and I really had no idea what I was going to do. And I was heading out west myself, where I grew up. And my brother called me. He was in North Carolina, and he had a trash company that he was selling. And my father was ill, so he asked me to come back and spend some time with him, which was a real blessing because I got some good quality time with my father. And then when he passed on, we decided to move to Tennessee strictly because he had a non-compete in the Carolinas to start a residential trash company. And we did that for 7 years and decided to basically sell that off. He had other plans for his future and went a different way. And I went to work with the big national company that bought us out and worked there for 9 years. And then Bayson, who worked for us for many years, is now my business partner and co-owner. We decided that we were going to start a residential trash company here in Nashville, and here we are 4 years later and about 6,000 customers.
Wow.
As you know, Nashville and the surrounding area is growing leaps and bounds, and what's good about the garbage business, Bill, is everybody has it, and they need somebody to take it away for them, and we are happy to do that.
Oh, that is so true. You need it as bad as you need breath, don't you?
You really do.
So
Nobody thinks about the garbage man
yeah,
or garbage itself until they come home from work and it's not taken away, and then they think
I think about it a lot at that point. I'm
about it. Yes,
sure.
sir.
So you guys service areas there, and 6,000 customers. That's a lot of people. So how
So
big of a territory? Now this is outside the city, correct?
it is. So
Okay.
the city of Nashville is city service. They contract the big national companies to take care of that. But once you get out of Davidson County and out into the suburbs, it's pretty much open for anybody. And we do have a lot of customers, but in this business, density is what matters.
Mm-hmm.
And we are really in two towns here in Middle Tennessee. Mount Juliet, because we live here, and the other one is Nolensville, which is directly south in Williamson County, which we're doing very well in.
Okay. Okay.
So we're not spread out, which is very important for what we do.
Right, because you operate some very heavy equipment.
Heavy equipment and very expensive equipment.
Yes, those mechanized units don't come cheap. That's for sure. That's for
They
sure.
do not.
How? No, go ahead.
So yeah, we just bought our fifth truck that arrived about a month ago and is up and running. So it's exciting. It's a very exciting business to be in.
Well, that it is, and growing like that, you're in the perfect storm place and the perfect storm business, because every time new homes go up, which they're going up like crazy, then that just keeps expanding your client base.
It really does. They say that I don't know how true this is, Bill, but the rumor for the past few 3-4 years is that one person moves to, or 100 people move to Nashville every day. Again, I don't know
Yeah.
the truth behind that or the facts behind that, but by looking around at all the new subdivisions going up and all the new businesses coming to town, I believe there is some truth in that.
Yes, yes, and it's certainly. I don't know if it's the number one fastest growing city in the country, but it's way up there in the top two or three, if not. So I've heard those stats as well. One of my friends said here last year or two, he said every time I go to Nashville, I count cranes to see how the economy's doing, because I forget now, he could stand in one place and count like 100 downtown.
There,
It's just
there are a lot of them,
it's
but it's
everywhere.
exciting.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just blossomed, and all of the locales down there have literally just grown together. Franklin out there is just the growth out there is incredible as well. Of course, it's not a bedroom, but it's close to that community of Nashville too. So
it really is. Yeah.
yeah. So you guys arrived at a perfect time, and so now do you sign up customers one at a time? Do you do it by like subdivisions? How do you go
So
about
we
that?
both, Bill. That's a really good question. We have both subscription service, um, and then we also have contracted neighborhoods. One of the first neighborhoods that really got us cooking was by 840 homes, and Bayson was responsible for that. Getting that locked in just before I came on board, where we were able to A, get a whole neighborhood that size, and B, most importantly, start earning our first paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an exciting moment.
Yes,
And
because I know it took a significant commitment before you could actually start to earn or start to have cash flow coming, because you had equipment to buy and you had to live there while you were getting that created.
yes, sir, there were a lot of sacrifices, but we knew, we both have been in this business for a while before having our own business. So we knew if we worked hard and different strategies that we've learned along the way, we knew that we would get there someday. And I think we have finally arrived. The good thing here in the Nashville area is it's mostly dominated by the big national companies, which have the better equipment, but they also don't have better service. Anybody can really pick up garbage. We had to come up with a way of doing it a little bit better than the next guy. And so we didn't have a lot of local competition. We had to figure out a way to beat the big guys.
I see.
And by doing that, when we were slim, we took the extra steps. People sometimes forget that can up at the side of the house when we roll in at 6 a.m, and it just takes a couple seconds to go up and grab that can.
Yeah.
Or shoot that customer a text and let them know you'll be in the area for a little while, and if they need to get it out, to let us know. And what that really did was we utilized social media. And we didn't have time or resources to hire a sales rep, but we allowed our customers to do that selling for us. And now when anybody moves to town, in these particular towns, we have the majority, and they either ask for that recommendation on social media, or they see our garbage cans are dominating that neighborhood and just call us that way.
I see. So now, do you guys have like a can that says, "Hey, this is Evergreen's can," so that people can recognize
one of the
it?
very first things we learned is it's very important to have your phone number on that trash can, because when somebody moves here, and the Nashville area, we're getting people moving here from all over the country, and the city's not providing service for them is a new concept. And so when they move in and realize the can's just not automatically delivered to their house, they look to their neighbors and see that can and call us that way.
Wow.
So it's been very beneficial.
Yeah, and just a simple thing, really. But
it really is.
But that it does its job for you as it's sitting there waiting to go in or out, whichever the case is.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating.
Everybody has one, Bill. We just want to make sure it's ours.
Yes, for sure. Well, that's cool. So now, did I hear you say you actually do some texting to your clients? Is that like an individual, or do you have something that is like a reminder? How do you do that?
No, it is an individual. So one of the smartest things, again, goes to my business partner, Bayson. When he started, he decided that he was going to not only put the customers into our billing software, but also put them into our Google Contacts.
Okay.
So now when we arrive, with now that we have 6,000 customers, I know some by talking to them out on the routes or whatever, but I don't know everybody.
Right.
And I can just pull up that address and it gives me their name and email and phone number information.
Wow.
And when we first started doing this, customers were just blown away. They just couldn't believe that the garbage man just didn't drive on because the can wasn't out. It took the time to actually reach out and say, hey, it's trash day.
Yeah.
I'm in your neighborhood for 15 more minutes. Please let me know if I need to come back.
Wow.
And that really, knowing that text may end up on that town's social media at some point. And and it really just took off from there. We were just blown away by the rate of growth.
Yeah. Well, that's above and beyond. I mean, that is not normal. So I'm sure people were going, hey, I got to tell you about this.
Yeah, it's been good. And now we have 5 employees. And we've taught all these guys are all younger than us. But we've taught them the same way. And, we feel like that was a good way to get our growth and achieve a greater customer base and to grow our business. But also we continue to do that today. If that can's out, and they're out every week, but we don't know what's going on in people's lives, or they just forget someday.
Yeah.
And just taking those few extra, it's merely seconds to run up to their driveway and grab that full garbage can on the side of their house so they don't have to wait another week.
Yeah.
It's really just customer service based. And that goes back to saying, how can we do this a little bit better than the other guys?
Yeah. Because
I can guarantee you the national companies are not doing this.
Oh, I'm confident that's true. Yes, they're not going to give that personalized thing. Well, that's a simple way to distinguish yourself from the competition for sure. Yeah.
It's been a blessing.
Yeah. Fascinating. Well, now tell me this, just give us a little picture of what a day in the life of Shane Lyons looks like.
Oh, well, a day is 24 hours, Bill, and I don't know if I have 24 hours will be enough to tell you what goes on.
Well, just hit the highlights then. Don't give us all the details.
I wake up at 3:30 every morning because I don't like rushing out the door, so it gives me an hour to go over any notes, go over the routes for the day, and then we meet at the lot at about 4:45 in the wintertime to really let those trucks go and address any route situations. And then we hit the route by 6, and we normally have our guys off by 12.
Okay.
And then that's when the work for Bayson and I really get started with phone calls, email. We are currently signing up about 10 customers every day.
Wow.
So that takes time to put them into your software, get a bill out to them, deliver them a can, and then everything else that goes with that. Our billing is only 4 times a year, every quarter. So then we're getting ready to bill here in a month for the second quarter. And we have receivables that we have to go after, which really take time.
Yeah.
So normally my day starts at 3:30. Hopefully I'm finished at the end of the day by 4, eat dinner and in bed before 7.
Wow.
So that's a day in the life of Shane.
Wow. So if I hadn't got you by 4 o'clock in Central Time, you'd been eating supper and going to bed, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Caught me at a good time.
Well, that's good. That is good. Well, that's such a picture of determination and hard work and doing the details better with excellence, which just sets you apart. It doesn't matter what kind of work you're doing. Those are the basics that do it. So right now, what's your biggest challenge just, for the business in the context of the business? Is it people, technology, competition? What would you say your
Uh,
biggest challenge is?
I think our biggest challenge, Bill, would definitely be equipment, and we have really good equipment. But you said it earlier about these are large trucks that are carrying a lot of weight every day. It's stop and go
Hmm.
all day long, which is very hard on the equipment. So it's just making sure that our trucks are in good working condition. They're safe for our employees. You don't want things leaking in people's neighborhoods. So I think the biggest challenge would just be keeping our equipment in good working condition.
Mm.
And that's also very costly
Mm-hmm.
as well. But I think that we have a great crew. Um, we try to take care of them, so we don't have. I don't think personnel has really been an issue for us. So I think the biggest challenge would just be equipment.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I understand that because just on your own car, when you drive in town and you're constantly stopping and going, that's very stressful. And of course, that's by design what you do every day, all day in those trucks. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you have any particular insight or bent about how you think the future is unfolding? And this is just whatever. It's not particular about your business, but uh, do you see more growth? How do you see the future unfolding?
I do. I see a lot of growth here, which is exciting. Obviously for our business, um, but also that's kind of the guy I am. I like to be out and about and doing things and not stuck behind four walls. So
Yeah.
it's been a great thing that I am in this job, that I am outside every day,
Mm-hmm.
but also on my off time is where I want to be as well. And Nashville has just been a wonderful place, and watching the growth. I've been here roughly 20 years, and to see where it's at now from the day I arrived is night and day,
Mm.
and it's exciting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And it comes with a lot of events and the sports that we have here and the music. It's exciting. So a lot of people don't like the growth. I embrace it. Again,
Yeah.
not just for business, but for the different things that come along with it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's no question it's a fascinating place. I don't get there that often, but to see the football that's there, the hockey, and like you say, music, of course, is there's nowhere like Nashville, Tennessee, and it's world famous for that for sure. So it's fascinating, and I'm sure, like you say, it's not just a challenge, but it's a fascinating place to be in business for sure.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's consumes most of our time, and I don't want to cut into your personal time any further. So, I always ask at the end of the podcast, what is your best bottom line business tip? Because that's the purpose of the podcast. We're putting it out for business owners so that other business owners can say, "This is what I do," or "This is how I think," and we can help each other. So,
Yeah,
give me
sure.
your best bottom line business tip.
So I think, Bill, I touched on that a little bit, and I really believe, being especially a small business, and where you may be behind some of the bigger guys, the bigger companies, you really have to put the customer first. Um, at the end of the day, that's your revenue. And I think just taking the extra steps, being upfront, being honest, uh, running an honest business, not taking shortcuts, but we are, with what we do, we are very, it's a service industry with what we're doing, collecting garbage every week. You have to put your customer first, and understand their needs, and keep lines of communication open with them, whether it's the text or the email or the phone call. And at the end of the day, they appreciate that. If there's ever a problem, it's never something that you can't work out with a phone call and say, well, this is why we do this. And I think with the trash business, a lot of people don't understand that they put their whole garage out at the curb on Monday morning, and by Monday at 5 o'clock when they come home from work, they don't know how it disappears, but it just needs to be gone when they get there.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't take that weight bench with 700 pounds of weights attached to it into a compactor truck.
Yes.
And that's just a phone call. Well, my truck has moving parts in it, and that will tear my truck apart. You can say, oh, I didn't know that. So putting your customer first and communicating, I think, is the biggest.
Yeah. Well, that's a great tip. And if everyone takes that to heart, they will either do better as they're starting, or they'll just do better as they're operating their business. So thank you for that, Shane. Thanks again for taking time to talk to us. And we appreciate you so much, and we appreciate having you guys as clients. So take care, get some supper and some rest. 3:30 will be coming soon.
Well, thank you so much, Bill, for having me. I appreciate it, sir.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, Shane.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Community Insurance offers tailored protection for you, your family, and your business. We offer a personal touch in a digital world. Our client app on your phone puts us in the palm of your hand for communications on your schedule. You don't need another agent when you have a trusted advisor on the Great CI team.